What up, everybody who talks boxing, comments about boxing, and makes boxing videos? I just wanted to make this video really quick. I'm really just fed up with the topic of race. I've been fed up with it for a while, and I really didn't want to talk about it anymore. But I was listening to this video, and I just felt like this young man had some really good insight on racism. And a lot of this applies to what happens right here on YouTube in the boxing community. So I really think, when he says America, if you were to input YouTube boxing community, and that includes everybody who makes boxing videos on YouTube, let's not kid ourselves. There's no real separation. You're still on the same website. Some of y'all are collecting money. So let's not kid ourselves and act like we're on a different platform. You're on the same platform. So stop lying to yourselves. But this really applies to both sides. All sides, really. And I mean, this young man, he just made some really good points. So I really want you to listen to what he has to say, and also, I'll have the link to the description in the, to his video. This is actually, just to put some context, if you don't go and check out his video in its entirety, it's about the Mizzou situation that happened with the hunger strike. I just kind of recorded the parts that I think most are applicable to the situation we have on YouTube in the boxing community. But if you want to hear it in its entirety, you can certainly go ahead and check it out. Link is in the description below. But, as always, feel free to comment. And just real quick, biggest takeaway, treat everybody as an individual. All right. Just because somebody, and this doesn't just go for boxing, this goes for anything, but since we talk boxing, I'm going to use boxing as an example. Just because somebody is not black and then they're criticizing a black fighter does not make them racist. In the same way that just because somebody is black and they praise a black fighter does not mean that they only support black fighters either. Okay, you need to be looking at the fruits of everybody's labor. You need to be judging people by their character, not by the color of their skin. Stop acting like children. Anyways, without further ado, this is what I want y'all to hear.
And in all honesty, I really did not want to talk about this topic because I find the topic of race to be incredibly boring. It's a bunch of people complaining about racism here in America as if we don't know that there's still racist people here. But they're not the majority. Racist people aren't the majority here. Unless you want to count all those progressives that hate white people. Seriously, what is up with this victimhood bullcrap that people want to keep putting themselves through? In all honesty, I don't like feeling like a victim. I don't like feeling like the world is against me. I don't like feeling like I have to rise through adversity because of my melanin or my genetic encoding. I'm black and Native American. Well, I'm mostly black, but my entire genetic encoding has a history of slavery. All right, it's not a fun thought. It's not something I like thinking about. It's not something I'm fond of, like at all. I don't like it. It's stupid. I don't understand why anyone wants to identify with being a slave, or why anyone wants to identify with being a victim. I don't understand why anyone wants to identify with being a slave, or why anyone wants to identify with being a victim. It's the weirdest thing in the world to me. It's like, I don't want to be a victim. I don't want people to look at me. And you know what? In the inverse, I also don't want people to be prejudiced either. I don't want people to look at me and say I talk like a white person because you assume all white people have terrible grammar. In the same way, I don't want people to think that I'm a victim or that I'm whiny because, a bunch of other black people whine and complain about racism that isn't even there. And I'm not saying that there aren't racist people in America. Of course there are still racist people in America. But to make it seem like it was the same racism that our forefathers had to deal with is absurd. I mean, honestly, I'm just really getting sick and tired of all this whining and complaining about a problem that doesn't exist. It's just a gigantic waste of time to me, because the solution to racism is already there. It's not about whether or not we need to find a solution. It's all about application. You just need to start treating people as individuals. That's the solution to racism. Stop assuming stupid shit about people because of the level of melanin in their skin. There you go. Problem solved. See, it's such a simple solution. All it requires is just application. You know, we already have the golden rule. Do unto others, give others, do unto you. See, we already have it. We already have the wisdom. Only thing here is we have to apply it. I mean, aside from that, I don't know. I think it's easier to just try to teach people and just treat people as individuals, you know? Treat them based on what they do and how they are. That's my opinion on the whole racism thing, because I don't know. Again, it's such a boring topic to me. It's like we already have the solution to racism. Just stop to people. There you go. Problem solved. Adults, they're college students, and they're acting like whiny children, yelling and screaming and complaining. This one guy who had the hunger strike, I mean, he expects us to about whether or not he has any food to eat. Why don't you go try that hunger strike in Africa? How about that? Get out of here with that. I don't care. If I was the president, I would have let the kids live. That's what makes ass nigga. Bunch of these kids. They're acting like children when they're frigging adults. I mean, that's a problem unto itself. This is why we need fathers here in America, right? To teach your children how to deal with adversity and to not whine and complain whenever someone says anything remotely close to being mean or racist. Ignore it. Ostracize them. But the more you act like it bothers you, the more racist people are going to be dicks to you. I mean, kill them with kindness. Leave them alone. Don't show that it hurts your feelings. Alright? Like, that's how you deal with bullies. Unless they put their hands on you, which they didn't. And like I said, the topic of race, oftentimes a very boring one to me. I don't really have much to say other than treat people like individuals, treat them well, be kind to them. Ignore racism when you see it, ostracize these people, or breed it out. I don't know. But that's my opinion, and I'm sorry for all the people I didn't make a video on the topic when it was nice and fresh individuals. So I think that's the takeaway message, man. If you walk away from anything with this video, other than probably a good chuckle or good laugh, it's this. Treat people as individuals, alright? Allow them to express themselves, and make a good judgment based on their character, not on their skin color. And the other takeaway message is don't nigga, okay? Deal with your issues, man. Deal with your problems. You don't always need a gigantic group, or you don't need to ostracize people. You know, sometimes it's okay to just shrug it off and go about the rest of your life. This whole situation could have been avoided if these kids just learned how to shrug things off and go about the rest of their lives. Because people are really trying their damnedest to create this image of a race war here in America, or create this image that there's a race problem when there isn't. And even if there was a race problem in America, constantly whining and acting like a victim is not going to prevent people from being racist. You're either going to have to raise children who aren't racist, or you yourself is going to have to learn how to treat people as individuals. Because you're not going to change the mind of other people, you know, not without a reasonable argument or not without actually interacting with them. Whining and complaining and saying racism is bad is not going to stop racism. You either raise children who aren't racist, or you treat other people as individuals. And that's all I gotta say. So that being said, man,